for the benefit of the departed soul, Sridhar Murari Prabhu's mother. So today we will read 10th chapter from Canto 1, which is departuring of Lord Krishna to Dwarka after the Kurukshetra war. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakhya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, in the first canto, in the previous chapter, the chapter to this, we Suta Goswami explains how Bhishma Pita has left his body and how we can see how Suta Goswami he explains the departure of Bhishma Pita. And we can see that how Bhishma Pita would instruct Yudhishthira Maharaj on how to actually rule the world, and he would explain all the dharmas of various categories of people. And here we will see that after Yudhishthira Maharaj has been given the empire, no, he has given the throne of Hastinapur, and now Lord Krishna, who had come here to help the Pandavas, now he is departing to Dwarka. So here in this chapter we can see the separation between all the devotees for Lord Krishna. No, Shaunak Muni asked, after killing his enemies who desired to upshare his rightful inheritance, how did the greatest of all religious men, Maharaj Yudhishthir, assisted by his brothers, rule his subjects? Surely he would not freely enjoy his kingdom with unrestricted consciousness. So here we can see that Shaunika Rishis, after they have heard that how Yudhishthira Maharaj has been given the throne, so they are asking Suta Goswami, so can you let us know how did Yudhishthira Maharaj rule his subjects, right? And they are also mentioning that we know for surely he would have not enjoyed the kingdom, right? So actually this is the advantage of having a what is it, king with dharmic principles, right? So if the leader is having the good qualities, who can stand for dharma, who can establish dharma, who himself is practicing dharma, then the whole world or the subjects under him, they can be peaceful. So we can see in this chapter from second shloka, Suta Goswami would explain till about sixth shloka. No, he would explain that how the empire or the kingdom is flourishing under the Yudhishthira Maharaj's rule. So we'll see second, third, fourth, fifth shlokas at a time.
Suta Goswami said, Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Maharaj Yudhishthir in his own kingdom and after restoring the Kuru dynasty, which had been exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger.
So here we can see that Suta Goswami himself is mentioning that the Supreme Lord Krishna was very pleased to establish Yudhishthir Maharaj, because we know, right, before Mahabharata war, Yudhishthir Maharaj was the king, and he is the no the Dharmapati, right? So we cannot find any person more than Yudhishthira Maharaj who follows the Dharma. So it was flourishing. But then we know the episode how the Kauravas cheated Pandavas and they took away the kingdom from the Pandavas. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj was bereft of the kingdom for about 14 years. And now, after he was re-established, even the Supreme Lord Krishna was very pleased, and we can see here there is an analogy of bamboo fire of anger, right? So usually in the forest, no, all of us know that how the fire forest happens. It is not that no anybody goes to forest and they light the forest in fire. It is actually the dry bamboos, no, they actually rub between them during the hot summer day, and then there is a lot of fire produced, and that's how the fire is produced in the forest. So here also, Sutta Goswami is comparing the friction between both the cousins, no, Kauravas and the Pandavas, as that fire forest. So now that it has been exhausted, no, that's how he's comparing.
Maharaj Yudhishthir, after being enlightened by what was spoken by Bhishma Dev and Lord Sri Krishna, the infallible engaged himself in the matters of perfect knowledge because all his misgivings were eradicated. Thus, he ruled over the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brothers.
So here we can see that Suta Goswami clearly mentions that Maharaj Yudhishthir, after being enlightened, no, by Bhishma Pita, then he engaged himself in ruling the subjects. So a king or a leader, Prabhupada in the purports, he writes that a king or a leader should not have his own ideology, right? So he should follow the dharma as it is. So here we can see Yudhishthir Maharaj was not having his own ideology. So he was following just what the Bhishma Pita has instructed him, how to actually rule, or what are the different, what to say, uh, um, responsibilities for each sections of the society. So that he was able to maintain, and that he was able to maintain by the help of Bhishma Pita's enlightenment. So that's what here Prabhupada gives in the purport. So today we can see quite opposite. Like mostly when leaders are elected by democracy, so they have their own ideology and then they try to rule or they try to make laws because of their own ideology. So what they feel is good, then they try to implement it. But here the important point is a leader or a king should not have his own ideology, but they should follow the scriptures, the shastras. They should follow the sadhus or they should follow the maharishis who have already governed by that shastric knowledge. And that's how he gets the knowledge from Bhishma Pitta. So Bhishma Pitta is also one of the 12 Mahajans, right? So in the previous chapter, it is mentioned, or in further chapters in Bhagavatam, Yamaraj himself mentions that there are 12 Mahajans and Bhishma Pitha is mentioned as one of them. So Mahajans are the people who know how to apply the Shastras, who know at what time, place and circumstances, how to apply the Vedic scriptures. Because it is very, very difficult. Even if we read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam or other scriptures, sometimes in our life we face a situation where we don't know what rule to apply, right? So in such case, we have to actually go and approach a very mature devotee, senior devotees, and take guidance like what we should be doing in such situation. So here we can also see that Yudhishthira Maharaj, though he was no, Dharmapati, no, who was personified of Dharma, but still he took that responsibility and approached Bhishmapita to know how to actually rule the world by the scripture knowledge.
During the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira, the cloud showered all the water that people needed, and the earth produced all the necessities of man in profusion. Due to its fatty milk bag and cheerful attitude, the cow used to moisten the grazing ground with milk. The rivers, ocean, hills, mountain, forest, creepers, and active drugs in every season paid their tax quota to the king in profusion. Because of the kings having no enemy, the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, diseases, and excessive heat or cold. Shri.
So here from 3, 4, 5, 6, we can observe how Suta Goswami is mentioning the environment which is there when Yudhishthira Maharaj was actually ruling. So we can see that all the natural resources, no, water, minerals, flowers, fruits, so they were all giving by themselves, no, whatever was required for the people. So the earth was happily giving, right? So we can see very quite opposite situation in further Bhagavatam cantos during the Maharaj Prithu, right? So at that time, the earth was not giving the minerals or crops and fruits. And here we can observe contradictory during Maharaj Yudhishthir's rule. So they were all giving profusely. You know, water was abundantly available, and then nature was very good, and whatever drugs were required, no, the plants, no, which acts like drugs in different diseases. So they were also available in abundant, right? Today also we can see, according to Ayurvedic, the drugs, the plants have so much medical values, but they are very rare to find, right? But during Maharaj Yudhishthira time, we can see that all these were profusely available. And it is not that people were working very hard to get them. So Mother Earth was willingly giving all these things, right? So we can even see in sixth shloka, Suta Goswami mentions that even the subjects, no, the living beings who were there, they were not disturbed by any mental agonies also, right? So this is what happens when a leader who is following dharma actually rules the kingdom. So all the subject matters, no, all the subjects, all the living beings who are there in the kingdom, they all actually enjoy, no, the benefit of following the dharma. So if you see today's world, no, we have a system and we have a process which might be very good, like where everybody is trying to elect someone who is famous or who is having the most votes among the people. But once the person comes to the power, we know like how politicians, they may give so many promises, but no, they have their own ideology to follow, and they don't serve the people after they are elected. So that's why Vedic scriptures, no, it actually suggests that no, there should be a monarchy, there should be a king's rule. It is not that everybody is allowed to choose, no, who can rule the kingdom. No, because the reason is not everybody is knowledgeable of what is good and what is bad. So there are many people in the kingdom or in the world who would be more towards sense gratification. No, so their mentality would be more on platform of sense gratification. So they would think like the person who allows us to enjoy more, we will elect him, right? But that is completely wrong. So the Brahmanas or the Kshatriyas who are very knowledgeable of the scriptures, so they have to rule as per what the monarchy says, right? So here we can see that even a monarchy person, if he is very, very good, no, he is acting as per dharmas, then the whole subject or the whole kingdom benefits out of it. But even if everybody has a freedom to choose, but if that leader is not good, then we can see that everybody faces a lot of suffering, right? So today in this world, we see that we are having elected government by general people. So everybody have the power to choose the leader. But to what extent we are being happy? No, we are not happy. Everything is crisis. No, water is crisis in Bangalore nowadays, and water is crisis in so many parts of the world. And food is crisis, medical medicines are crisis, shelter is crisis. So and even rich people who are having all these things in availability also, still they are having so much of mental agonies, right? So they are disturbed in their mind, right? So that is the difference of having a democratic chosen leader and having a monarchy king who is a Rajarishi, no, who knows through scriptures how the kingdom has to be ruled. So we can see that during Yudhishthira Maharaj, how these benefits were there for the kingdom living beings or kingdom subjects.
Sri Hari, Lord Sri Krishna, resided at Hastinapur for a few months to pacify his relatives and please his own sister Subhadra. Afterwards, when the Lord asked permission to depart and the king gave it, the Lord offered his respect to Maharaj Yudhishthir by bowing down at his feet, and the king embraced him. After this, the Lord, being embraced by others and receiving their obeisances, got into his chariot. After that time, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yuyutsu, Kripacharya, Nakula, Sahadev, Bhimsena, Dhaumya, Satyavati, all nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Krishna. The intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees and have become freed from bad materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. How then could the Pandavas tolerate his separation? For they had been intimately associated with his person, seeing him face to face, touching him, conversing with him, and sleeping, sitting, and dining with him.
So here we can see the description Sutta Goswami is telling, like how the Lord now is now ready to depart, and then we can see that now how he is paying his respects to Maharaj Yudhishthir, no, because he is the emperor. So as an etiquette, he is trying to pay his obeisances, respects, and then they embrace the Supreme Lord, and then the Lord is living. But here we can see the descriptions of different personalities. No, it is said that no, they are nearly fainted. No, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari. No, just you can imagine the character Gandhari and Dhritarashtra. No, they were so quite opposite to Krishna when their sons were there, and they were so against Krishna that Krishna was not helping them. But still, they have realized the importance of the Supreme Lord, and it is described that they have nearly fainted. Now, in 11th and 12th verse, Sutta Goswami is telling the rishis and munis, or even the neophyte devotees or sadhakas like us, no, who have read little bit about the Supreme Lord. No, even we have so much of love, like whatever love we have. So now Sutta Goswami is telling now, imagine about all these personalities, the Pandavas, Draupadi, Kunti, they have all associated with Krishna personally. No, Krishna is meeting them, Krishna is sitting with them, Krishna is playing with them, eating with them. So Sutta Goswami is telling, no, it is impossible for them to bear the separation. No, it is very, very impossible, right? So we all can understand, but of course for us it is very difficult to understand. But for sadhakas like us, we can understand like how, if someone says no, you should not chant, you should not read Bhagavatam, you should not read Bhagavad Gita, you should not talk to devotees, can we be? No. Can we be for a day, 2 days, 3 days? Someone forces us to be for 1 week. Now you can just imagine the separation what we would have. No, for devotees, for the scriptures, for darshan of the Lord in the temple, even for chanting, no, for not chanting for 5, 6, 7 days is so long. No, we cannot imagine, right? So we can just compare, no, even with these things which are connected to the Supreme Lord, we are feeling so much of separation if these things are not with us. But now just imagine about all these personalities who are personally having, right? So with this, we can understand how much no separation they would have felt. No, Sutta Goswami is mentioning that they are nearly fainting. No, for us it is impossible. Even if we are separated from mother also, even if we see our mother after 2 years or 3 years, we will not faint. Or if someone takes away us from the family and says, no, only after 10 years you will meet your mother, we will not faint. We'll cry, we'll feel morose, like, oh, why I should be separated. But will not be fainted. But we can just understand, no, the separation, what all of them are going through, right? So Suta Goswami very beautifully mentions in further shlokas also how the love for Supreme Lord among all the persons who are there, all the ladies, all the subjects, all these famous personalities, how no, they are actually pouring their heart for Krishna when Krishna is living. So we'll read the description.
All their hearts were melting for him on the pot of attraction. They looked at him without blinking their eyes, and they moved hither and thither in perplexity. The female relatives, whose eyes were flooded with tears out of anxiety for Krishna, came out of the palace. They could stop their tears only with great difficulty. They feared that tears would cause misfortune at the time of departure. While the Lord was departing from the place of Hastinapura, different types of drums like mridanga, dhol, nagada, dhundundari, dundubi, and the flutes of different types, the veena, gomukha, the bheri, and all sounded together to show him honor. Out of a loving desire to see Lord, the royal ladies of the Kurus got up on top of the palace and smiling with affection and shyness, they showered flowers upon the Lord. At the time, Arjuna, the great warrior and the conqueror of sleep, who is the intimate friend of the most beloved Supreme Lord, took up an umbrella which had a handle of jewels and was embroidered with the lace and pearls. Uddhava and Satyaki began to fan the Lord with decorated fans, and the Lord, as the master of Madhu, seated on scattered flowers, commanded them along the road. It was being heard here and there that benediction being paid to Krishna were neither befitting nor unbefitting because they were all for the Absolute, who was now playing the part of a human being. Absorbed in the thought of the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is sung in selected poetry, the ladies on the roofs of all the houses of Hastinapura began to talk of him. This talk was more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas.
So here we can see the descriptions, how everybody is pouring their heart for Lord Krishna in separation. And we can see how Uddhav and Arjun, they are engaged. So they are just ready and Krishna is walking, and Uddhav and Satyaki, they are fanning the Lord. And during this situation, so all the ladies, they have come on the roof of their houses and they are watching Krishna is walking towards the chariot to leave. So at that time, they are actually praising the Supreme Lord, right? And here, Suta Goswami is telling, what is telling? Mm, that these hymns are more attract. See, these talks are more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas, right? Because here we can see that out of love they're praising the Supreme Lord, right? But in the Vedas, they're just like given like an information for us, right? But here we can see like a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord out of love and out of the separation, they're spontaneously they are telling something about the Lord. So that's why Sud Goswami is saying that this is more attractive, this is more sweeter than the hymns which are mentioned in the Vedas. So now we'll see what these ladies are talking about Lord Krishna.
They said, here he is the original personality of Godhead, as we definitely remember him. He alone existed before the manifested creation of the modes of nature, and in him only because he is the Supreme Lord. All the living beings merge, as if sleeping at night, their energy suspended.
So here we can see in this one small shloka, this shloka would be very, very superlative that they're trying to praise the Supreme Lord as a very supreme personality. But there is a lot of meaning to this, right? So they are saying that he is the original personality of the Godhead, right? And he alone existed before the manifestation of this creation. So that means they have the knowledge of how this material world has been created. So they know how Mahavishnu, Lord comes in the form of Mahavishnu, then Garbhodaksai Vishnu and Kshirodaksai Vishnu. They're also mentioning that all the living beings merge as if they're sleeping at night. Right? So that's it. No, the Vedic scriptures they say that at the end the Lord Brahma is sleeping, or when the year of Lord Brahma, sorry, when the 100 years of Lord Brahma comes into picture, then all the living beings they go into the Garbhodaksai Vishnu and they are there temporarily, right? And once the time comes to manifest, they again manifest in the world, whichever the Supreme Lord creates. So again, we'll see in the further verses how they actually describe. So we can understand that the simple ladies of Hastinapur, they were so knowledgeable. Like they are not big, like what do you say, learned women or a very aristocratic learned people, but they are very simple women. So we can understand by this that even the women who were serving at home very nicely, they were also very knowledgeable about what is what. They know what is absolute truth. It is not that no, they were like really uneducated. No, people like in today's terms, they say that okay, oh, my grandmother was studied only till third or fourth, so she is uneducated. It is not that they are not, they are uneducated. Actually speaking, we are uneducated. No, they knew so many things actually. They know what is the purpose of life. They know what to do. So I can recollect one of the incident. So my mother, she was telling that when she was pregnant by me, sorry, not by me. So when I was in the womb, so my mother, she was just doing her daily chores. So she was cleaning the dishes outside. So usually in those times we didn't have proper place to clean inside. So usually they clean the utensils outside only. And my grandmother was very strict. The juta and all it should be cleaned outside. After that only it should be bought in. So that time you don't have proper place. So they just sit on their like that and they wash, right? And then my grandmother, she was washing. My mother was cleaning the dishes. So my grandmother also was there with her. That time immediately my grandmother told, okay, you stop cleaning, you come with me. My mother didn't understand why she's asking me to stop abruptly. Then she told, okay, let's go, let's go. Then she took my mother to the hospital. So my grandmother was able to understand that my mother is going to get the pains soon. Even my mother couldn't understand that she was about to get the pains. But my grandmother understood and she took her to the doctor, delivered. So that is the knowledge they possess. Today, even doctor, they are not able to estimate whether that pregnant woman is getting pain or not. No, I have seen my wife. I have, we have admitted twice. They don't have any knowledge. No, they just keep on waiting when that pain would come, and they'll keep them in the ward. And if they don't get pain, what they do? No, they give injections to get artificial pains. Actually, now you just compare all the sophisticated hospitals and doctors with so much of degree with my grandmother. What she is doing, she is simply just serving at home, managing household activities. But she was able to have so much of knowledge that she could even treat a pregnant woman. She could know like what to do at what point of time. So here we can see the women of the Hastinapur. No, they are so nicely reciting and they're praising the Supreme Lord. So we'll see in the next verses also.
The personality of Godhead, again desiring to give names and forms to his parts and parcel, all living entities, placed them under the guidance of material nature. By his own potency, material nature is empowered to recreate.
So here, see, these women, they're explaining also. So in the previous verse, they have explained that all the living entities, they go into the Supreme Lord and they sleep. But here again, they're explaining that again the Supreme Lord, he recreates and then he gives all these living entities a name and form. All right? We have seen, no? So all the living entities, as per their karma, they get a body. So they can get a form of human, they can get a form of a lion or a tiger or a devata, and they have their own activities. No, Lord sanctions, okay, this is what you can do, and you do. Right. So here they are beautifully explaining, no, again desiring to give names and forms to his part and parcels. Right. So we are all the living entities are part and parcels. So they're explaining very beautifully that by his potency, the material energy, the material world is created, and they all are given a form and they're given a name, and they're led to live again. Right?
Here is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose transcendental form is experienced by the great devotees who are completely cleansed of material consciousness by the dint of rigid devotional service and full control of life and the senses. And that is the only way to purify existence.
See, So these women, they are even telling like how one can see the Supreme Lord, right? So only with great efforts by cleaning no our heart by devotional service, then only we can actually see the form of the Supreme Lord.
Oh, dear friend, here is that very personality of Godhead whose attractive and confidential pastimes are described in the confidential parts of Vedic literature by his great devotees. It is he only who creates, maintains, and annihilates the material world and yet remains unaffected.
So here we can see that no, they know that what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Yeah. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानं धर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. Then he says that paritranaya sadhuna vinash. So he comes to save his devotees, to kill the miscreants, and then to re-establish the dharma. So in this context also, we can talk about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, right? So we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance on coming Monday on 25th. So what is the specialty of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that the Supreme Lord himself, he comes for a certain reason, and mostly it is to give pleasure to the devotees, and he establishes the dharma, and then he kills the miscreants also, right? So if you pick any avatar like Parshuram or Matsya avatar or Rama or Krishna, Balram, so we have seen that Lord has acted in all these three areas. But in case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he doesn't kill the miscreants, right? Because Nityananda Prabhu himself tells, no, when the Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very much angry by the acts of Jagai and Madai, then he's ready to release his Sudarshan Chakra to kill both of them. But Nityananda Prabhu says, like, if you kill them, then you have to kill so many people, or you have to kill almost everyone. So this is not for what we have come. So we have come here to give the love of Godhead unconditionally, right? So that's where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's avatar, we say that he is the most munificent. No, it's very magnanimous. He's not seeing any qualities. He's not seeing any qualification. Even to the worst of the sinners, he's giving the love of Godhead. No, he's just giving. So we are very, very fortunate. So that no, we are able to take all these instructions, whatever we have been given by Srila Prabhupada or Guru Parampara. No, we are very fortunate that we are coming under the lineage where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared, and where all the Shadgu Swamis, they have given so much of literature. They have unmanifested so many of places in Vrindavan for all of us. And personally, we have we have seen how Srila Prabhupada, right? So even we need not go to so many personalities, right? So if we just understand how Srila Prabhupada has what he has done for us, what he has done for the upliftment of the fallen souls like us, right? Even before we have born in this the world, the Srila Prabhupada, he has done so much of sacrifice for us. So if we look at Srila Prabhupada's life, we can see that how much sacrifice he has done, so that we can actually get this knowledge, we can take benefit of all these things, right? The Hare Krishna mantra, the morning program, the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, right? So we can just see now when we are able to appreciate Srila Prabhupada, then how much of appreciation we should have for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how much of appreciation we should have for the Supreme Lord himself. So here we can see the ladies of Hastinapur, they're seeing the Supreme Lord, and they are appreciating the Supreme Lord, right? So here we can see that they are describing how the Supreme Lord has created this whole material cosmic manifestation just for the living entities, just for the falling souls like us. He has created, he has done so much of, no, what to say, circus. No, there's earthly planet, there are seven higher planets, there are seven lower planets, and there are so many demigods, there are so many departments. So and there are so many types of religious principles like anybody can follow. Someone who is in like ignorance, passion. No, they can follow some Devi, Devata, they can follow anything and everything. No, Krishna has done so much for us. No, even for the most fallen conditioned soul who wants to eat everyday meat, who want to drink the blood. For him also, Krishna has put one process. Okay, you follow this and do whatever you want to do. So, how much of appreciation we should have for the Supreme Lord, no, who is doing so much so that we can fulfill each and every desire, whatever we have. The ultimate aim is that, no, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Guru, and all senior devotees, we are able to know that, no, fulfilling our material desires is not the goal of the life, or it is not benefit for us. So somehow we should dovetail all our desires in the service of the Supreme Lord and take benefit of this process of bhakti. Here also, no, the ladies of Hastinapur, they are mentioning that only by devotional service and having full control of senses, one can purify their existence, right? So we'll see further verses.
Whenever there are kings and administrators living like animals in the lowest mode of existence, the Lord in his transcendental form manifests his supreme power. The truth positive shows special mercy to the faithful, performs wonderful activities, and manifests various transcendental forms as is necessary in different periods and ages.
Right. So this is similar to the verse what we have discussed, like yada yada hi dharmas. So here they are also discussing that whenever there are administrators and kings who are like living like animals, then the Supreme Lord advents and no, they actually devour all of them and then establish the rightful dharma. And then he comes when in different periods and ages, whenever it is required for him. Right. So they're praising Lord Krishna with all these stutis. So no, so many people they ask, no, how we can say that Supreme, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. No, just by listening to these conversations, no, if so, we can just listen to them and we can have faith, no, that yes, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Right? Even the ladies of Hastinapur, they are praising with all these stutis. No, Suta Goswami before only has said, no, these stutis are very, very attractive than the Vedic hymns. So they themselves are telling that no, the Supreme Lord who is in front of us, he comes in different ages to re-establish the dharma, finish all the kings and the Kshatriyas who behave like animals. No, so this is very amazing.
Oh, how supremely glorified is the dynasty of the King Yadu, and how virtuous is the land of Mathura, where the supreme leader of all living beings, the husband of the goddess of fortune, has taken his birth and wandered in his childhood. Undoubtedly, it is wonderful that Dwarka has defeated the glories of the heavenly planets and has enhanced the celebrity of the earth. The inhabitants of Dwarka are always seeing the soul of all living beings, Krishna, in his loving feature. His glances at them and favors them with sweet smiles. Oh, friend, just think of his wives, whose hands he has accepted. How they must have undergone vows, baths, fire sacrifices, and perfect worship of the Lord of the universe to constantly relish now the nectar from his lips by kissing. The damsels of rich Bhumi would often faint just by expecting such favors.
Right. So here we can see that how the ladies of Hastinapur they're glorifying, no, the Dwarka Vasis, no, the Vrajavasis. So they are thinking, no, how much, no, tapasya they should have done, no, to get Krishna so close to them, spending so much of time with them, right? So we can see in all the episodes with Krishna, whether in Dwarka, Mathura, or Vraja Bhumi, so Krishna actually enhances the love towards him by a lot of separation, right? So if you look at the pastime of Kalyanag, right? So when Kalyanag actually catches little Krishna and it winds around him, so Krishna can easily free him within a second or a split second, but he takes some time. Why it takes time? Because when all the Brajavasis who are on the banks of Yamuna, they are looking at that site where Kalyanag is catching hold of Krishna and Krishna is struggling. So the love for Krishna in their hearts is oozing out. No, you just you are there. no, your son is there, he has come out of danger immediately within split of second. So there is nothing much in that situation. But if he's struggling, then there is a lot of love in mother's heart, right? Oh, how, please save my child, someone help him. No, somehow, Krishna, you help him, let him come out. So there is a lot of love for the son which comes in heart of the mother. So here also we can see Krishna, though he can free himself within split seconds, but he takes time. No, in any pastime, like any demon when he fights and all. So there is some dramatization like how we see in movies. But Krishna doesn't need that time actually speaking. Within split second, he can finish off anyone who comes. Even before they enter the arena, only he can finish off. But only he wants to increase that love for all the Vrajavasis who are around. So, like how when we see a movie, so even if a villain comes, hero comes, he just hits, he falls down, Katam. So we don't like that. No, but there should be some dramatization, right? So he like in case of like Rama in last battlefield, it is so actually enticing. No, so much of episodes happen, right? So it is not that within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, Lord Ram he just wins over Ravana. So there are so many fights happening, so many episodes happening, right? So in that way, what is happening? Devotees are eager. Okay, what is happening? Okay, what is happening? Then he is getting this. Then he's with his Maya. His son is there. Then he's hiding himself. He's shooting arrows. Then how these people can actually figure out what they will do next? So that anxiety is required, no, for to increase the love for Lord Ramchandra, right? So similarly, here we can see that every time, no, in any episodes, Lord Krishna makes sure that he increases that love for himself in his heart of devotees, right? So here we can see they are describing, no, how his wives, no, their sons, they should be so much, what to say, pious things they would have done to get Krishna as their friend or husband or a relative.
The children of these ladies are Pradyumna, Samba, Amba, etc. Ladies like Rukmani, Satyabhama, Jamvati were forcibly taken away by him from their Swayamvar ceremony after he defeated many powerful kings, headed by Shishupal. And other ladies were also forcibly taken away by him after he killed Bhaumasura and thousands of his assistants. All of these ladies are glorious.
Right. So the ladies of Hastinapur, they're praising now Rukmani, Satyabhama, and all the wives. No. So especially in case of Rukmani, if you see, so Rukmani before when she was there in her kingdom, she just knew about Krishna. She heard about Krishna. She never saw Krishna actually. Only by the virtue of Krishna, she fell in love with Krishna. And she had that, no, that I should marry Lord Krishna. And that then after that, we can see that how Krishna, he goes into the midst of that Swayamvar, and then he forcefully, he takes Rukmani and then he feeds the place, right? So here we can see that, no, the mood of Rukmani Devi, right? She never saw Krishna, but after hearing about Krishna, that time only she developed lot of love for Lord Krishna. So even devotees, we like all like senior devotees. So even the sadhakas, those so when they read about Krishna, when they learn about the attributes of Krishna, like in case of Sudama, how Lord Krishna behaves, like or like how he takes the menial service of washing feet during the Rajasuya Yajna, or if someone sees Krishna like in the battlefield of Kurukshetra and having so many wounds, right? In the previous chapter we have read actually Bhishma Pita in his Bhishma Stuti, he actually describes Krishna's beauty when he was there as a charioteer. No, Bhishma Pita liked that what to say that picture of Krishna. No, he wanted to see Krishna in that form. So that's why actually Krishna he behaved so with Bhishma Pita. No, we all know that when Bhishma Pita was actually fighting with Arjuna, so it is mentioned that Bhishma Pita is almost 25,000 times or so powerful than Arjuna. So then you can just imagine it is impossible for Arjuna to defeat Bhishma Pita. But of course, Lord has his own plans, and we know like what has happened. But when Bhishma Pita was firing arrows at Arjuna, you can just imagine how Arjuna would have faced. No, like I am one and someone is like 25,000 times stronger than me. If they're attacking me, then how I would defend? Now forget about attacking. Even defending also it becomes very difficult for that person. So that time Krishna takes arrows, no, and then there's a lot of wound coming out, and there's a lot of dust on the face of Krishna and on his hair. And then Bhishma Pita is describing that feature of Krishna in his Bhishma Suti before leaving his body, that how beautiful is the Lord, right? So Bhishma Pita was attracted to that form of the Lord, right? So when devotees hear about Krishna, so they naturally develop a lot of love for Krishna, right? So we all know that how Krishna is full in all six opulences, right? So he is full in renunciation also. And that is impossible for a middle person to have, right? Having so much of power, so much of beauty, so much of richness, and being unattached to any of those qualities is actually impossible. No, even the greatest of greatest personalities, you would see that they would have done some mistake or some ankar, who they would have had. No, even if you pick any famous, what to say, character from scriptures also, they would have had some past life. They would have done some mistake, and they would have come to another janma. They would have corrected them. So like that, we can see almost all the characters: Indra, Shiva, Gani, Brahma. So we can see. But the Supreme Lord, having so much of opulence, he doesn't have a tinge of attachment to all these qualities. So that's what attracts the devotees, right? So here we can see that they're glorifying all these women, like basically Rukmani, Satyabhama, and Jambavati, like how they were forcefully taken by the Supreme Lord. You just imagine. So Supreme Lord is the one who is loved by everyone, and then he comes and forcefully takes you, saying that no, I want you. No, I don't want you to be within your family, but I love you so much that you have to be with me. So you can just imagine the position of that personality, right? So that's why these women, they're glorifying Rukmani Devi and Jambavati and Satyabhama.
All these women auspiciously glorified their lives despite their being without individuality and without purity. Their husband, the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead, never left them alone at home. He always pleased their hearts by making valuable presentations. While the ladies of the capital, Hastinapur, were greeting him and talking in this way, the Lord, smiling, accepted their good greetings and casting the grace of his glance over them, he departed from the city. Maharaj Yudhishthir, although no one's enemy, engaged four divisions of defense, horse, elephant, chariot, army, to accompany Lord Krishna, the enemy of the Asuras, demons. The Maharaj did this because of the enemy and also out of affection for the Lord.
So here we can see that how Suta Goswami, he ends the narrations of these ladies from Astra. And then he comes back to the narration of how Lord is departing from the Hastinapur. And we can see that Yudhishthir Maharaj is having no enemies. He need not engage so much of entourage to go with Lord Krishna to leave him out of the city. But still, out of affection, no, he does. It is not that because he want to protect Krishna from some enemy or so, but still he is engaging in all these defenses. It is mentioned like horse, elephant, chariot, and all the army. So all they are engaged, to accompany Lord Krishna, right? So it is not to give protection, but it is out of devotion. Yudhishthira Maharaj want to engage everything, whatever he had, for the service of the Supreme Lord.
Out of profound affection for the Lord Krishna, the Pandavas, who were of the Kuru dynasty, accompanied him with a considerable distance to see him off. They were overwhelmed with the thought of future separation. The Lord, however, persuaded them to return home, and he proceeded towards Dwarka with his dear companions.
So here we can see that to whatever extent they could follow, accompany Lord Krishna, So all the Pandavas and the relatives, they have accompanied. But again, then Lord Krishna persuades, no, that you have a kingdom to rule. So you have your own responsibilities. So you please go back. And then they come back, and then Lord continues his journey. So in other further shlokas, which is end 34, 35, 36, we can see how he passes to different kingdoms and he reaches Dwarka. Lord Krishna.
O Shaunaka, the Lord then proceeded towards Kuru Jungle, Panchala, Surasena, the land on the bank of the river Yamuna, Brahmavarta, Kurukshetra, Matsya, Saraswata, the province of the desert and the land of scanty water. After crossing these provinces, he gradually reached the Sovira and the Abhira provinces. Then the west of these reached Dwarka at last. On his journey through these provinces, he was welcomed, worshipped, and given various presentations. In the evening, in all the places, the Lord suspended his journey to perform evening rites. This was regularly observed after sunset.
So with this shloka, this chapter ends. So in the last shloka, there is very, very important lesson for us. We can see that no, every evening, because Lord had to take a journey, they have to stop. So Lord would stop in the evening and perform evening rites. So whatever rituals are there, he would perform, and then again tomorrow morning he would start his journey. So we can see, like, no, when we are following this whole program, whatever has been given to us by Srila Prabhupada, many times when we become very busy or with some other activities, we go somewhere, we find reason that no, okay, we have come outside, we are busy with some things, so it is not required for us to follow our regular uh, items, whatever we do. So here we can see the Supreme Lord himself by example is showing that no, he is performing his evening rites. You know, so even we also have to follow, like whatever situations could be, we have to follow our sadhana very nicely, like reading, chanting, hearing, and whatever seva we can do. So we have to be very much attached to these items actually, because these are the devotional items which have been given to us by Srila Prabhupada. And no, like a normal sadhaka, we cannot do much actually. No, we cannot uh, go and serve Guru Maharaj personally, or we cannot do things like which can affect large masses greatly. No, we are not such personalities, right? But whatever we can do, whatever has been given to us, no, we have to follow it religiously. Once we follow them religiously, then automatically the sadhaka becomes mature and comes to a level where no, he can become a uttamadhikari, where even darshan of that devotee can change the heart of a normal person, right? So all these things are required for us. It is not that uttamadhikari can be become so easily or so overnightly. So we have to follow our sadhana very strictly to such an extent that no, that one day we become such a good devotee that even by taking one's darshan, the other person's heart changes and no takes up devotional service. We can see, right, all the senior devotees and the senior gurus, disciples of Srila Prabhupada. No, everybody is fighting to take their one darshan, and that one darshan is enough for a normal person to melt their heart and think. If someone is new, then they can think that okay, I have to know about Krishna, I have to know about Bhagavad Gita, and someone is already practicing. They have in their heart that no, I have to follow strictly. No, I have to become more sincere. I have to sincerely follow whatever I'm following. So like that. So here we can take no example. No, Lord Krishna himself. No, as he says in fourth chapter to Arjuna that I don't have anything to do, right? But I do because I can be a good example to others, like Janak Maharaj. No, they're all realized souls, but they still perform their duties so that others can follow them, right? So here we can see that Krishna is following his duty, being Supreme Lord. So we should also follow all our duties, whatever occupational duty or spiritual duties, whatever we are having. So we have to sincerely follow them. So with this, we will end our session. So this is end of chapter 10. So thanks everyone for joining for this session. And we pray for the departed soul, mother of Sridhar Murari Prabhu, that know all the benefits, whatever we are giving, may she reap benefits all this and pray that everybody chant. So we have already chanted Hare Krishna mantra and we continue to chant for their mother at least for coming 13 days. So again, thank everyone who has uh, come and who has attended these sessions. Thank you for your presence. So thank you, Sridhar Murari Prabhu and their family for making such a wonderful arrangement so that we can get purification by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So thank you, everyone. So anybody is having any questions or any comments? Okay, so if
Hare
you
Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much for a very nice session, Prabhu.
thank you.
Thanks a lot, Prabhu.